Well, Millie has decided to join us, so I think we can start our meeting tonight. I understand that the kindergarten students at Sherman are going to help us with the Pledge of Allegiance and the Sherman Pledge. So if you could come up with Principal Gonsath.
For their kindergartners. Right, don't be bad. Love it.
If everyone else could please stand up.
I pledge allegiance.
Yes.
We're also going to have our kindergarten students recite our Sherman Pledge. Okay. We the Sherman. We the Sherman Shires.
Good evening, everybody. This is a beautiful crowd tonight. Thanks for coming out. Great show of support. Michelle, do we have any agenda changes this evening?
I did have a couple agenda changes since Friday. I do have an updated personnel report for each of the board members to take a look at, right at their spot, highlighted with any changes. I did have some additional items for board action. J, K, and L, all three are approvals of K through 12 assistant principals.
Very good. Thank you very much. Is anyone wishing to address the board with agenda related public comments this evening? No? Okay. And Michelle, do we have any communications?
No communication.
Very good. Then I am going to move right into what I'm assuming everybody is here for, and that is the welcome and student voice from our principal here at Sherman, Mr. Terry Gonsath.
Thank you. I guess I'll be loud enough. Thank you all for showing up, and we know why we're here for the kids, right? Yeah. So when student voice came out, I thought it was an awesome idea. So that's why we have many voices here today. I mean, we could have 350 kids here speaking on behalf of Sherman. So teachers had the opportunity to choose somebody to come in and be a voice for their class. So we are going to start with. So we had from Ms. Costier's class, we had Eli. Mrs. Smith's class, we had Liam. Ms. Ritchie's class, we had Cora and Quinley. In Ms. Dickens' class, we had Jane. Can I have you guys all come up here again? So we did Sherman Pledge of Allegiance. So what I wanted the students to do was to talk a little bit about their favorite thing in Sherman. It could be anything. Okay, so is that on, Amber? Who wants to go first? Let's have it. How about Eli? Want to go first, Eli? You want to tell everybody what you like about Sherman? Your favorite thing about Sherman? Here, let's turn around. We'll talk right.
My favorite thing of Sherman is singing and making new friends.
What's your favorite thing about Sherman?
Um,
So many things, right?
yeah.
Hey, what's your favorite? Or one of your favorite?
Um,
Want us to come back to you?
It's overwhelmed.
Stage fright, right?
Yeah.
Here, we'll go to Cora. We'll go to Cora. Quinn. Quinn, how about you?
making new friends.
Making new friends, that's awesome.
Good choice.
Jane, how about you?
Same.
The same, making new friends? That's awesome. People clap for our kindergarten. They all have a certificate. Bless you. Yeah. Liam. Oh, that's Liam. Yes. Thank you, kindergarten. For our first graders, our next class, so what they did is they partnered, like many of our classes have partnered with other classes for reading buddies. So there's a couple pictures of a couple classes together. We have first graders reading to fourth grade classes, fourth grade classes reading to first grade classes. It's worked out very well.
Mr. Gonza, can you hold the mic close?
I'm not sure it's.
It's going into the audience, the virtual.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so Mrs. Burns, we have Aubrey, Mrs. Moore, we have Haley, and Miss Woodrick. We have Olivia. Could you guys come on up, please? So we'll have Aubrey go first. What would you like? What's your favorite thing about Sherman?
Reading buddies.
Reading buddies. You want to talk about that? Like how it's fun or
Fun.
you like it? It's fun. Awesome. Haley?
I love getting new friends and learning more stuff from my teacher.
Awesome. Great answer. Thank you, Haley. And Olivia, how about you? What's your favorite thing about Sherman?
I like making new friends.
Making new friends. Well, that's awesome. Thank you. Second grade class, we have Mrs. Kelly, we have Ken, Mrs. Cobb, we have Nathan, Mrs. Wilson, Declan, and Miss Ols. We have Catherine. Could you folks come up, please? Get up here, Declan. Okay, so we'll go right in order. Ken, what's your favorite thing about Sherman? And actually, I'm gonna go to some slides. So this is something that Mrs. Kelly's class participated in. And that is right there. What's your favorite thing, Ken?
The fun projects.
You did the project? You want to talk a little bit about it? No? Talk about it because I happen to be in there. It's not really a maggot masterpiece. It happened to be a mealworm instead of a maggot. So the class, they dunked the mealworms in paint and then let the mealworms kind of move around the paper, making maggot art. Kind of cool, right? And this is actually his masterpiece. Pretty active maggot right there. Okay, we will go to, this is Nathan, who's always dressed better than I am every single time. So you want to talk about that, Nathan?
Today we and then I just did poem
Did a poem, and mom, which stood for what?
made of money.
Made of money. That's right. That's awesome. Thank you. And we have Declan next. How about you, Declan? What's your favorite part of Sherman?
The bug research that we're doing.
Bug research. Here you are doing the bug research. You want to talk about that? What was your bug?
Beetles. Beetles.
What do you want to tell us about beetles? Do we eat them? What do we do?
We don't really do anything with beetles.
It's done. Perfect, thank you, Catherine. And we have Catherine. How about you, Catherine? What's your favorite part of Sherman?
Doing fun experiments.
Experiments, like the one that's on the screen right there. You want to tell us a little bit about that? No. Perfect. Thank you. Second grade. So third graders, we have from Mrs. Ramey's class, we have Brady and Tony. Mrs. Leviker's class, we have Lillian. And Miss Purvis's class, we have Giuseppa. You guys come on up, please. All right, well, and we'll go right in order. Brady, how about you? No cell phones in school. No cell phones in school. What's your favorite part?
I like that I get to see my friends and stuff outside.
Awesome. You like playing outside and being with your friends?
Yeah.
Perfect. Was there something there you wanted to read?
Yeah, I wanted to read this.
Go ahead. Oh, I was only kidding.
Hi, everybody. My name is Brady Penn. I am a third grade student from Miss Baby's class here at Sherman Elementary. Thank you so much for inviting me to come here and tell you why I love Sherman. I really look forward to coming to school every day and fist bumping Coach Kolb, Mr. Gonsev, Big Mike, and Mrs. Parks. Sherman Elementary has the best staff. Everyone is always smiling and happy. I love seeing the staff outside of school at concerts, games, and events. Next year will be my last year at Sherman Elementary, and I will always love Sherman, and I will always be a Sherman Shark. Thank you for allowing me to share it, and I hope you have a Merry Christmas.
Awesome. How about Tony?
My favorite thing about Sherman is art and PE.
You like art and PE? What are your teachers for art and PE?
Coach Cole and Miss Davidson.
Why are they your favorite?
Because they teach us cool stuff in our classes.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Tony.
And Lillian, how about you?
My favorite thing about Sherman is the teachers and the students, and they're really nice.
Yes, they are.
And Giuseppe.
My favorite thing about Sherman is that I get to see my friends every day, and I like music because I like singing, and I basically like all the specials because we just learn stuff and it's fun.
The fourth grade, we have from Miss Marsalis' class, we have Kaylin. Mrs. Bates's class, we have Maddie, and Mrs. Page class, we have Sal. Would you folks come on up? Great. We'll go first, Kellen.
My favorite thing about Sherman is walking in the classroom every day and seeing all my friends and seeing my teacher.
Awesome. Very nice. Maddie?
My favorite thing about Sherman Elementary is hanging out with my friends and going to art class.
Oh, you love art. You do a lot of nice things in art, right? Thank you, Maddie. And Sal, how about you?
My favorite thing about Sherman is the teachers, and I like to do the specials because they're really fun. My favorite is gonna be PE and art because
PE and art.
yeah, because PE always gets yeah, and because PE just gets me really motivated.
Yeah. So what is it that you have here with you?
These are our kindness homes, and they give us a kindness mission every day. And this is Alf and this is Galan.
Show the property. It's, what do you have?
Alf and Gala. This is Gala and this is Alf, and 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 they give us kindness mission every day, and you have to at least try to complete them. I have a list of all of the ones that they gave us, but I don't want to waste time talking about them.
So on the table up here, you will see some of the gnomes that their class has done. And there's kindness statements on the back, so. Very much. Awesome. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Good job. Great.
Love your
Great. So now we have Mrs. Page is going to talk to you a little bit about our PBIS program here at Sherman.
Welcome to Sherman. I would like to tell you some of the exciting things that our PBIS Tier 1 team is doing here at Sherman. For example, in the cafeteria, we just started a fantastic cafe. Each month, the cafeteria staff chooses a student from each class who demonstrates the classroom cafeteria expectations. The student chosen will receive a special invitation to sit with other winners at a special table during lunch, receive a wonderful, fantastic cafe cup, and a special dessert. On a daily basis, students who are caught demonstrating respect, responsibility, and safety can earn a shark bite. They're given by any adult in the building to the students. Students turn in their shark bites to be entered in weekly drawings for trips to the treasure cabinet. We also collect the shark bites to fill our shark tank to earn school-wide incentives. And at the end of the year, we use all the tickets collected in the shark tank, and we have an end of the year summer send-off raffle. The PBIS team builds, as the PBIS team, building a strong school community with students, staff, and family is of utmost importance. For the past couple of years, we have held 2 carnivals for families, the Cabin Fever in February and the Summer Send-Off in June. They are affordable events where the students and their families can have fun. Many staff will volunteer to work at these events, and they are extremely popular. This year, we've added a few new events. We held a family photo session in November where families were able to sign up for a photo session and receive a digital copy of their family photo. And we have a PBIS Spirit Week planned in January and a Read Across America planned in March. We also coordinate staff luncheons and other events for the staff. And that's just a few of the things we do as a PBIS Tier 1.
And take you to that team. So also on the tables up here, you'll see a calendar, which was made by Mrs. Page's class. We have great artists here. So you can take a look at that and enjoy that. So at this time, we have the pleasure of having our students come on up and give you a special little treat.
This is a name change here. Yeah. You guys want to go down a little bit so you can see a little better. A circle around it.
So that's it. That's all that I have. And I want to thank all the parents and all the families for sharing your awesome kids, raising awesome kids. I thank you.
So the next thing, Terry, we get to pick on you a little bit, so don't hide in the back. It was a pleasure to walk in tonight and actually see him working. He was not taking a nap and he was not eating at the candy dish. So thank you. We've got some things that we would like to say. When he put in his retirement, we said, we're going to accept your retirement, but not his wife's. So his wife is not allowed to retire, just joking. So we have some special people, Mr. Gonset, that on your behalf would like to say some amazing things to you for all of the hard work and dedication that you've committed to the district and to our students and to our community. The first person that's going to speak is Dana Converse.
What I would like to say of Mr. Gonzeth is all the time that he has been here, he has been an amazing principal, and I hope that he has an amazing retirement and a really good life.
Oh.
You sit in the hot seat. Okay, our next, you can swear else. Urban Gosier. How about you?
You can text it to me, Urban.
On behalf of Urban, I'm going to read you his letter. Forgive me, I wasn't going to do that. Mr. Gonzeth, you are a really good principal. So good. I dressed up as him for Halloween. Every time I did the announcements, he gave me a free Frosty coupon for Wendy's. He made it fun. I'm glad I got to throw wet sponges at your face at the Sherman picnic. Mr. Gonzeth is a great sport. I'm glad I went to Sherman when I did because I got to have him as a principal.
Aww.
Addison Weinman.
So Mr. Gonset was always like really nice and he would make it super interactive and fun. Like every time we were here, it's a lot more interactive than the rest of the principals I've had in this district. But like he was always just like there in the classrooms, like in and out. He like made it a point to know everyone, even if you weren't always in his office. And yeah, that's all I need to say.
Our next person is Ashlyn Weinman.
Mr. Gonset has been my favorite principal throughout like all my years of school. He always made it fun and he would know every single person in the school and was always kind to them no matter like how they were feeling. He'd always make everybody feel happy even though like even if their day was horrible. And he'd give everybody candy and try to sneak up on them. He was just like my favorite principal in my all years of all of my years of school.
Our next person is Carter Leclerc.
Oh my God.
Oh, look at him right there. bud. Oh, he's coming to you.
I like when Mr. Gonzalez been a very good friend to everybody who been in the office.
Andy, when you're in the office?
No.
No. That was awesome. Thank you very much. Can I give you something? Can I give you this? Our next person is going to participate virtually, Anthony Harrington.
I have known Mr. Gossett for a vast amount of time. I believe he has many traits such as leadership, responsibility, and overall humor. Every day when I walked down the halls and saw such a positive person, it put a smile on my face. Over the years, Mr. Gossett has done many great things, but also very humorful things at the same time. To conclude this, I must say, you are a shining memory that stays in all of us. Bye.
Oh, you're still in the hot seat. Sorry. I just need the lift. So now we're going to invite up some teachers and a parent to speak. So our first teacher is Stacy Kelly.
Hi, I have had the pleasure of having Terry as my principal for all 7 years he's been here. Terry's the big brother I never wanted. He's the dad when I need a good joke and one of the best principals I've had the pleasure of working with. Terry's the first person to ask how he can help, the first to admit he's not the smartest guy in the room, and the first to get me for technology help. I hope Terry enjoys retirement, spending time with his best buddy, finishing his house projects, and maybe getting out on the boat without sinking it.
Thank you. Taylor, so we're not done yet. Taylor Purvis.
Okay, mine's a little lengthy, but you'll understand why in a second. I was lucky enough to be hired at Sherman 7 years ago, which just happened to be the same year Terry was put in this building. Not hired, just moved here because he's been here a while in Watertown. He made my transition as a new teacher into an unfamiliar building with a brand new district so much easier and more welcoming than I could have ever imagined. Terry has always been an ear to listen, a supporter like no other, a pretty good jokester when you need a good laugh, and he will definitely, if you ever fall down the stairs, be the first person to come rescue you. He has been one of the most positive impacts on me in just a short amount of time, and my appreciation for having him as a boss is beyond measurable. And I know that he also has had the same impact on every other staff member here at Sherman because I actually asked all of them and got some responses. So Ebony Combs, who is our homeschool coordinator, she appreciates your kind and compassionate nature towards students and staff. Stacy Burns, who teaches first grade here, appreciates that you are genuine, kind, and fun to be around. The students love you, and we have been so fortunate to have you here at Sherman. You're always here for your staff, and you will be truly missed. Bree Marsh wants to thank you for your constant trust, support, and sense of humor. Lisa Gamich, who works in our library, wants to thank you for all that you have done to help our students and staff throughout the years. You've made a significant impact on so many people, more than you will ever know, and we appreciate your service to our school community, and we will miss you dearly. Liz Cobb, who teaches second grade, wants to acknowledge how much she appreciates you listening to her concerns and then taking action. Debbie Matuziak, otherwise known as Terry's right-hand man here, says that Terry has made Sherman such a welcoming place for her to work. Sherman is a truly special building, and you are the biggest part of that. Amy Ose, who teaches second grade, wants to thank Mr. Gonsath for all of you done for her and our school. Your love for your staff and the students has never gone unnoticed. You truly are one of a kind, and I am blessed to be able to been able to work by your side and grateful to be able to call you also her friend, and she is going to miss you. Jen Haynes in the music department says that Terry's sense of humor and the way he genuinely cares for everyone here, students and staff, is what she appreciates the most. Taylor Moore, who is one of our first year teachers, is also so thankful for Terry's guidance and welcoming nature, especially with this being her first year. You have made her feel so confident and welcome to the staff and school. Brittany Widrick wants to acknowledge that you are an outstanding principal. We are also lucky to have such great leadership, and thank you for making Sherman a great school. There's probably so many more to add, but I've already surpassed my comfort zone up here. This is just a tidbit of the extent of what you've done for your staff, this school, and our students. We are very grateful to have you for 6 more months, even though I'm sure everyone will agree that we are dreading June to come. So thank you for everything, Mr. Gons.
Tara Rainey. Tara. No. Okay. Chad Kolb.
So we have before coach or not? Just wait.
I was asked this morning just to share 3 things and some different things about TG, as I like to call them up there. The first thing that I wanted to share is if there was one word that describes that guy right there, it's definitely support. There's not a family member, there's not a student, there's not a staff member, there's not a teacher that probably has not been supported in some way by that guy right there. And the sacrifices he makes for all of us to make our lives easier, the stuff he shoulders, the stuff we don't even know about. It's just amazing the stuff that he does behind closed doors, never looking for thanks, never looking for appreciation, but the appreciation is definitely there. The second thing is they asked me just to kind of share one of my favorite memories about here. And there's a lot of kids here, so I won't tell you the truth. The actual memory is we do a morning valet service every day. And thank you. And that's probably one of the funnest 20 minutes of my life every other day, because we do just ridiculous dad jokes. We mess with parents, we mess with kids as they come in and leave, and pick on them and make fun of them and in a good way and tease them. And it's just a great time. And I look forward to that every other day, doing that with him. And if I think secretly some of the staff members here refer to us as stepbrothers. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but they refer to us as that, I think, a little bit behind our backs. And then finally, they asked me what our hope for him was in retirement. And our best hope is that he and his family stay healthy for the next 2 years, because after that, he'll be in a nursing home. And the other thing that we're hopeful for him is that his beloved Dolphins finally, hopefully, win a Super Bowl this year.
Amen.
Okay.
Megan Converse.
Not fair to make the parrot go last.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Without aging myself too much, I will say that I have had the pleasure of being a parent for Terry's entire tenure here at Sherman. In that time, I've had 4 children come through these doors, 1 almost done and 3 that are out. And through that time, Terry has worked tirelessly to improve the morale of the teachers, support staff, students, and parents alike, to create the most positive learning environment I have experienced with any of my children. Educators are lucky to have our kids in their hands more waking hours than we do through the years. And Mr. Gonseth, for all of his years here, has remained steadfast, not just for my children, but for all the children of Sherman through his time here. Always wanted to have a joke in the hallway or a quick chat in any weather in the drop-off line. Or a piece of candy when students pass through his office. Sherman won't be the same without their leader. As we are losing a wonderful principal, we know that Mrs. Gonseth, Terry's children and grandchildren are the lucky ones, because they get to enjoy him in his free time in retirement. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
All right, we could have made a lot of money if we sold tissues tonight. Um. For everybody that came, thank you very much. We're all sad to be losing Terry, but we're happy for your family. And everything that you've done will live on. And thank you again. And to everybody who did come, this is the time where you get to run for the door.
Without falling.
Without falling, yes. And we will continue with our regularly scheduled meeting. Thank you so much for coming.
I didn't see. Excellent job.
It should have been two. In theory, and not even allowed to.
Somebody that.
I think it's great. That's what we're looking for.
That would be great. Next line way to culminate is. Yes, yeah, I just gotta remember to make sure it happens. She says yes. Before we go up.
Okay, so for those that remain, at this time, I'll need a motion for an executive session for the purpose to discuss the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation. Can I have a motion? Gully, in a second. John, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We stand in executive session. So I need a motion to enter public session. Back into public session. Kelly in a second. Millie, all those in favor?
Hi.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving along tonight. Policy Committee meeting report. Mrs. Lori Converse.
Yes, tonight we went over a few things. We revisited policy 7068. From our last board meeting, we had a lovely young lady speak to us about the policy limitations and the use of time out and physical restraints. We revisited that. Mrs. Tina Lane and Dr. Smeagol are having meetings with the principals tomorrow to discuss how they use timeout in each school. So they're going to do that. We have a new policy that was provided by the attorney that will be given to each board member for you guys to review. We're going to bring that back to be discussed. You can discuss that, send any emails to me and Dr. Smeagol, anything that you want to correct or if you're good with it. We want to bring that back to be voted on January 16th.
Okay.
So if you guys want to talk about it.
Cool.
Then. The next thing that we have coming is the Workplace Violence Prevention Program. This is required by New York State. It's been required by all employers prior to this. Now it does have to be required by the school district. It's the prevention program that we'll be using is the New York State model that is required by law. We have to have it approved now. Are you passing out that policy?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Anyway, this has to be implemented by January 4th or we'll not be compliant for New York State. This is going to be brought to you to be approved at the January 2nd meeting. Tina and Dr. Smeagol have already done a lot of work to go over risk assessment. They have gone over the hazards and resolutions for 10 facilities. They have had a meeting with the bargaining units. They have identified the reporting person as Tina Lane. The union reps did say there's 3 things that need to be addressed. It's athletics, playgrounds, and emergency numbers by the phones. Those things are going to be brought to the safety committee at their next safety meeting to be addressed. You can find this on our website starting tomorrow under personnel where you find Tina and all of her documents. Let's see. And then any questions that you may have on this state document can be emailed to myself or Dr. Smeagol as well. Because like I did say, we do have to have a vote on it January 2nd in order to be compliant on January 4th. And did I cover everything?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
So wait, I have a few questions, just point of clarification. So on the email agenda that we got this like grid. Yeah,
That's the at-risk assessment.
That's the
and that was
at-risk
done for every building.
Okay, so is this a policy,
That's a part of the plan.
a part of
Yep.
the plan?
And there is a
Okay, yeah.
resolution to approve it.
Okay, we haven't done that yet.
That'll be then January 2nd.
Okay, and then the workplace violence prevention program, Watertown City, so that other attachment.
Yes, those are in there. The ones that you were pointing to right there, that's in that program.
Okay,
It's all one PDF because it's the same thing.
okay. I just was confused as to what we want, so we don't, okay, so we're gonna approve it at the January, okay.
We just wanted to,
Yes, yeah, I have time, yep,
yeah, it's all in the
Yeah.
packet.
yeah, because if I don't review it, Jason might say something nasty about it.
Anybody else have anything for Mrs. Converse tonight? Lovely report. Thank you. Superintendent of Schools report, Dr. Larry Smeagol.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to update everyone on some things that we're working on in the district. So we were working with St. Patrick's to look at leasing their facility. The idea of creating an alternative education program to address some of our tier 3 students. We are still working with St. Patrick's and the New York State Department of Education on leasing terms. And so we are currently waiting on more information, but I just wanted to update the community that we are still working on that. I also wanted to update the community that we are working closely with the city of Watertown on the pool usage. That is agreement that we're looking to open up our pools in the morning, the one at the high school for morning lap swim. The city sent an email to us yesterday with a list of questions. So we are going to work with our legal department and insurance company to get more information on that so that we can move forward with that and then update the community as such. We are looking forward to a meeting that's going to be coming up on January 2nd. We have a meeting scheduled with our district attorney. We're looking forward to meeting with her and talking about how we can partner with her and our city, our chief of police, to address different behaviors that are going on in our community and ways in which our district can be a partner. The Teacher Advisory Council. We met yesterday with our Teacher Advisory Council. And so just to kind of remind the community, we had principals select one member from each of their buildings. And then we had the bargaining unit also select a teacher. The November meeting, and Tina's going to correct me if I'm wrong, in our November meeting, there was a lot of conversation of things that maybe at the elementary level that we can do to rectify some behaviors and teach kids regulating things at so that kind of put a thought in our mind to how do we organize our December meeting? And so what we decided to do was hire a behavioral specialist. She came in with her credentials and experience. We had Tina Lane facilitate a group. We had Matt Burdick facilitate a group. We had Jody facilitate a group. And we had Amber Mizzicola, who's in the back, operating IT for us tonight. Thank you. She facilitated a group because we thought it was important, even though the majority of the concern was coming or stemming from the elementary level, we thought it was important for Amber to sit there because of her work with the portrait of a graduate. We wanted her to hear some of the concerns that we're hearing at the elementary level so that we can rectify those things. Kevin, you're in the audience. You were there. I left the meeting feeling empowered. I felt that the teachers left empowered. They went through 4 rotations. They presented the top 3 students in each of the buildings that need some behavioral interventions or strategies. So they had the opportunity to discuss those kids at each of the rotations and discuss strategies that they could bring back to their buildings, their PPS teams, their building principals, et cetera, to try to reduce some of those things. When you look at the majority of our students, the 95% of our students, to steal a quote from someone else in this room, are doing an absolutely amazing job. And so we want to provide the support for the 5% and continue celebrating the 95% that are doing absolutely outstanding and are moving in the direction that we are striving to as a district. The next thing I wanted to update, it was our hope to present tonight our district strategic plan. We are not there yet. We had a lot of stakeholder groups. We had 7. We had empowering conversations, but we really want to be thoughtful on the plan that we move forward. In the past, our plan was pretty much a 1-pager. This plan is going to be a little bit more detailed. We want to talk about specific priorities. Our priorities that we identified were graduation rate. We identified that as the top 1 as 7 stakeholders. We identified the need to improve our student engagement. We can't increase graduation rate if we don't engage our kids. And then we talked about we can't engage our kids if they're not at school. And so our top 3rd was improving the attendance rate of our students. How you will see it worded in our plan is chronic absenteeism. And so we'll show you with a visual representation of where we plan to move that data. The next thing that we said we wanted to do was enhance behavioral strategies for students that need a little bit of extra help so that we can engage them in an appropriate manner and they can learn. Our 5th goal that we talked about in each of the stakeholder groups and then the finale was the need to look at our facilities and what we can do to make sure that we're creating 21st century learning opportunities for our kids. And so we're going to continue. We met Tina, Lynn, and myself. We've met over the last 2 days to continue the work in that plan. Once we get the draft plan done, we're going to, we told the committee as a whole, we had over 100 people participate. We want to pull 15 people in a smaller, more intimate group that represents the 7 stakeholders. And we want to bring back that draft plan to talk about the feasibility because it's important for us to not just shoot to the stars and set goals. We're using our MIPS to identify some appropriate goals. We're looking at behavioral referrals. We're looking at trends. And we want to set goals that are achievable, that are attainable, similar to what you would do if you were writing an IEP. So we're looking at that. We're looking to bring that forward in January. So more information to come with regards to the strategic plan. The next thing I want to mention is that we had a wonderful meeting with our mayor-elect. We sent her an invite and she came. She actually met at one of the schools. Was it Sherman was one of them?
Yeah.
She came to read to kids. We had a wonderful meeting to talk about the eclipse and how the Watertown City School District can partner with the city in making sure that we're creating a safe space for everyone that lives and resides in Watertown. So more information to come. We have our Lisa Blank, an amazing administrator in our district who attended the meeting this week on the 18th. She brought amazing information back. We're going to continue that partnership to decide what we can do as a district to support and create a safe, engaging, collaborative partnership there. That concludes all of my comments.
Very good.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Larry? So, Tina. So when do you think we're going to be able to, like a true date of when we're going to be able to finalize opening up the pool to the community?
So they sent us a list. As you know, we sent an email 2
Yeah.
months ago.
Yes.
We did get an email this week. I sent a follow-up last Friday when we met. I sent a follow-up. The email came yesterday, so I sent it to our insurance company and to legal. So I'm waiting on an answer from them. Once we get an answer, then we'll have to put it back. They'll have to bring it back to the commissioners, I'm sure, or common council, to see what our responses are. So I probably February would. We were hoping for January, but I don't
Yeah.
think time-wise that's our next board meeting isn't even until January 2nd.
Sure.
They need to hear from us. We need to give them an answer. We need to hear from them.
So one, we're definitely going to be able to do once all of those details and logistics are finalized,
Yes.
is we're offering one morning a week of swim
Two.
or two?
2 mornings.
2 mornings, and that would be early 6 to 7.
They asked some questions, some great questions about insurance things. They asked questions about how many, they thought it was 1 lifeguard that was needed, but our insurance company won't let us operate the pool unless there's 2 lifeguards for safety reasons. So there's some simple things that we can clarify, but some things I need to reach out to our insurance company as a district and to legal. And then I will send them the response the minute that I have it. I forwarded the email immediately after Logan sent it.
And what is the status on waivers?
So the waivers is not something that you're talking about who collects it. It will be our staff that collect the waivers.
Right, no, so like so if the community member goes to swim. Are
They
we
would fill out a waiver when they get
saying
to the
that they're
pool.
not, if something happens to them,
We're not liable.
right?
That has already been vetted by legal. That's already been vetted by the
Okay.
insurance company. That has to stay in a locked box. And
Sure.
that would be one of the 2 employees that are working in that morning.
So
They
we're past that hurdle.
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, that was one of the big ones initially, but
Right.
we're past that now.
Okay, so it sounds like the lifeguard 1, 2 is.
That has to be 2.
It has to be 2. And are they paying for those lifeguards?
Yes,
Okay, which they offered to anyway,
Yes.
right? Okay,
Mhm.
so it sounds like we just have to like,
we're definitely moving in the right direction, but they asked some great questions and we're going to try to get them great answers and hopefully we can come to an agreement and get the pools opened so that we can do lap swim. We're thinking that we can accommodate 6 with based on the lanes at the high school, but it's definitely a starting point and we wanted this to be a pilot.
sure. Okay, thank you. That was
You're
my
welcome.
only question.
And then, can I read something? And then actually I said I was done, but I'm not. I have one more thing I would like to read. Because this is a wonderful thing and I see Isabella in the audience, so I want to thank you for being here. Last week, I had the opportunity to be invited to the Syracuse City School District for the launch of Micron. I just want to reiterate what an amazing opportunity we have to partner with an industry. Our kids are going to have the opportunity to learn how to use semiconductors. You know, as educators, it's our job to prepare kids for a world outside of our school walls. So the opportunity for an industry to partner such as Micron and the $4 million that they dedicated. But I also want to reverse because before this was a possibility, and Kevin, I know you don't like when I say your name, but I like saying it. You know, Kevin received an email from the NICEP president and she asked if she could tour the district. And I was a little bit nervous. I said, I'm a new superintendent. What is she looking for? You know, you're always wondering the what if. And I kind of went out on the ledge and I trusted Kevin. I still trust Kevin. And we invited her in. And what she saw was the collaborative partnership as a district. and the hope and the dream of the district and where we're going and what we hope for our kids. And that we have an understanding beyond our walls and once they leave our high schools. And so, I was talking with Kevin when we left the launch last week, and I was like, Kevin, they mentioned Watertown. There are 700 and something districts in the state of New York, and to be 1 out of 10 is pretty significant. And I think Micron sent a very clear message to the community in that industry needs to partner with educators. I mean, Micron is helping NISOT and AFT and the other bargaining units. They're helping them write the curriculum to teach something that's hands-on, that's going to help our kids secure employment when they leave our schools. And I want to think that by them doing that, they are paving the way for what is yet to come in public education. And now I rest.
Okay. Items for consent agenda.
Resolved that consent agenda items A, B, and C are hereby approved.
Motion, please.
Gloria.
Lori and Millie, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Items for board action.
Whereas the school district tax collector of the Watertown City School District has submitted under oath that at the close of business on December 7th, 2023, current school taxes and interest amounting to $10,992,232.10 have been collected by her for parcels within the city of Watertown. School taxes amounting in $4,510,410,400.60 plus interest of $1,077.62 have been collected by her for towns of Luray, Camellia, Rutland, and Watertown. Said dates and interest amounting in $755,803.69 remaining uncollected and unpaid with respect to properties collected within the city of Watertown, and such taxes amounting to $208,989.52 plus interest of $4,198.27 remain uncollected and unpaid with respect to properties outside the city of Watertown and the towns of Luray, Camellia, Rutland, and Watertown, amounting in all to $968,991.48. Such taxes and interest uncollected and unpaid, and whereas the board has caused said statement to be compared with the original school tax rolls, said statement has been found to be correct. Resolved that so much of said statement as pertains to uncollected taxes levied on real property located within the city of Watertown, transmitted with a copy of this resolution to the comptroller of the city of Watertown, and so much of said statement as pertains to the unpaid taxes levied on real property located outside the city of Watertown to be transmitted with a copy of this resolution to the treasurer of the Jefferson County, and that each of said treasurers be and hereby are authorized and directed pursuant of section 1322 of the real property tax law to enforce the collection of all uncollected and unpaid school taxes pertaining to these properties located within their respective jurisdiction with penalties and interest provided by law, and that each of them pay over to the treasurer of the Watertown City School District at least once each month all monies realized from such collection after retaining from the city of Watertown or for Jefferson County, as the case may be, the 5% penalty authorized by said law.
I wasn't listening.
Please read again.
Can I have a motion? Lori in a second. Kelly, discussion. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Whereas the school district tax collector of the Watertown City School District has submitted under oath that at the close of business, December 7th, 2023, current Flower Memorial Library taxes amounting in $68,344.69 have been collected by her, and that at said date taxes amounting in $5,731.87 remain uncollected and unpaid with respect to properties located within the city of Watertown, and such taxes amounting in $923.23 remain uncollected and unpaid with respect to properties outside of the city of Watertown and the towns of Luray, Pamelia, Rutland, and Watertown, amounting in all to $6,655.10. Such taxes and interest uncollected and unpaid, and whereas the board has caused said statement to be compared with the original school tax rolls, and said statement has been found to be correct, resolved that so much of said statement as pertains to the unpaid taxes levied on real property located within the city of Watertown be transmitted with a copy of this resolution to the comptroller of the city of Watertown, and so much of said statement as pertains to the unpaid taxes levied on real property located outside the city of Watertown to be transmitted with a copy of this resolution to the treasurer of the Jefferson County, and that each of said treasurers be and hereby are authorized and directed pursuant to section 1322 of the real property tax law to enforce the collection of all uncollected and unpaid school taxes pertaining to these properties located within their respective jurisdiction, with penalties and interest provided by law, and that each of them pay over to the treasurer of the Watertown City School District at least once each month all monies realized from such collection after retaining there from the city of Watertown or for Jefferson County, as the case may be, the 5% penalty authorized by said law.
Can I have a motion, please? Call in a second. Lori, discussion.
Yes. I don't know if you can answer some of these questions, Sally, but I believe that the resolution was passed by the previous board for the Watertown City School District to collect this additional library tax. So this is the first time that there's uncollected taxes being put on a resolution and us giving permission to the city of Watertown and the county treasurer of the county to collect on taxes on these people who haven't paid their taxes on their property. Is that correct? This is the first time this is happening?
I wouldn't think it would be the first time. I would think this would happen every time.
But this is, go ahead.
I believe this is an annual.
No, it is an annual, but what I'm saying is that it was only recently voted last year for the Watertown City School District to collect an additional tax that I believe was like 75,000 or whatever.
You know, this isn't the first year though.
So
Are we in year 2?
okay, so I couldn't remember if it's year 1 or year.
Yeah.
Okay, so then if this is a second year, then so maybe my questions can be answered. So one of the questions I have is this resolution is saying that we are giving authority to the city of Watertown to go and collect unpaid taxes, correct?
Relevy.
Okay, which is fine. However, when we give the authority to the county to collect unpaid taxes from the town of Pamelia, Rutland, the county, the city of Watertown makes the county whole. So if the taxpayer, if the property tax owner of Jefferson County doesn't pay their taxes, by the end of the year, they go back to the city of Watertown and they say, you're going to make us whole and you're going to collect this taxes for us. So if we are giving authority to the county and the county is giving authority to the city, where are we securing and how are we going to make sure that these monies are collected?
That would be something I will have to investigate.
Because, and the reason why I'm raising this issue, and this is going to come up more in future meetings, the reason why I'm raising this issue is because my question would be if a property owner, is there a line item for this library tax? So that's a big question. So how are they figuring that we have $6,000 that are outstanding? How do you figure that out? Like how do you know that how do you know that? Like, unless there was a line item. I believe our attorney told us that there's a line item, like we had a meeting about this, and I believe that our attorney said that there was a line item for library tax.
There is on the city website. If you look at anybody's taxes, there's a line item
For a city.
for library tax. Is that what you're
Okay.
asking?
Yeah, so they had to be, because how else are they coming up with this outstanding balance? Yeah, so my next question would be, if people aren't paying their taxes, the repercussion of that is your property gets taken away. So if if you live in the county, right, and you're not paying your tax, and we have individuals who don't believe in paying the library tax because they're not allowed to sit on the library board. That's a rule. So who's coming after these people? Who's enforcing them to pay their taxes? Is it really the county or is it the city? Like, I want to know how we're securing these funds. Because it's a total gray area here.
This is an area I'm not.
Right. And I didn't expect you to be familiar, right? And I'm not familiar with it either, but this is a logical question for me. Like, how are we collecting this money?
What I can say is that we as a district are not the one who's making them whole. I mean,
Oh,
we're
I know
literally a
that.
pass through, so we give the money that's collected.
I know we're not making them whole. Good question. Yeah. But it's a valid question, and we really need to be looking at that, especially if we are the vehicle by which we collect this money and have to pass it to the library. So that is what I wanted to ask. So if we can just take a look at that and revisit it, I think we're going to be talking a little bit more about that in future meetings. I'd like to know that. Thank you, Sally.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that upon the recommendation of Dr. Larry Schmiegel, Superintendent of Schools, the paid administrative leave of a non-instructional employee was in place effective December 7th, 2023.
Can I have a motion, please?
Lori.
Lori in a second.
Millie.
Millie, discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Larry Schmiegel, the Board of Education hereby approves the following: resignations, retirements, appointment probationary non-instructional, appointments permanent, appointments tutors or ESSER, appointments substitutes instructional, appointment substitute non-instructional.
Can I have a motion, please?
Millie.
Cully and Millie. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that the hourly minimum wage increase to $15 per hour effective December 30th, 2023 is hereby approved.
Can I have a motion, please?
Lori.
Lori and Millie. Discussion. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that an anonymous donation of 11 winter coats to H.T. Wiley Intermediate School for students in need is gratefully accepted and approved and will be acknowledged in writing.
Can I have a motion, please?
Lori.
Lori in a second. Cully, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved an anonymous donation for 20 Walmart gift cards in $25 increments worth a total of $500 has been received. This donation is designated for district-wide students and families in need during the holiday season. It is gratefully accepted and approved and will be acknowledged in writing.
Can I have a motion, please? Go ahead. In a second.
Lori.
Cully and Lori, discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that the Watertown Cyclones Booster Club donated 16 turkeys, 2 per school building in the district for families in need at a value of $172.84. This donation was gratefully accepted and approved and will be acknowledged in writing.
Can I have a motion, please?
Lori.
In a second.
Millie.
Billy, discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that the educational student trip to Wells Island State Park for the Environmental Club at Watertown High School, January 5th to the 7th is hereby approved.
Can I have a motion, please?
Lori.
Lori, and second? Go ahead. Cully, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Resolved that upon the recommendation of Dr. Larry Schmiegel, Superintendent of Schools, the appointment of Nicholas Little as K-12 Assistant Principal in the district is hereby approved.
Can I have a motion, please?
Lori.
Lori and Millie, any discussion?
Congratulations.
Welcome. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Same motion carries for that.
Resolved that upon the recommendation of Dr. Larry Schmiegel, Superintendent of Schools, the appointment of Suzanne Wood as K-12 Assistant Principal in the district is hereby approved.
Can I have a motion, please?
Lori.
Lori in a second? Go ahead. Cully, discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Resolved that upon the recommendation of Dr. Larry Schmiegel, Superintendent of Schools, the appointment of Catherine Cook as K-12 Assistant Principal in the district is hereby approved.
Can I have a motion, please?
Lori.
Lori and Millie, any discussion? I hope she's standing virtual. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
That's the end of the resolutions.
Anyone wishing to address the board in non-agenda related public comment?
There was a.
Dr. Keppel.
There one of the things that she is putting for is a climate smart committee, which makes the Watertown a sustainable city, and that we formed in January. And so I think the school, hopefully will be a chemical part of it in terms of not just the hopefully faculty support of it, because teachers have skills that in terms of science and science commentaries and we probably few people have also what we would want the best of the brightest kids involved.
Absolutely.
I don't think anything's going to work until we get when empowering youth to be involved with climate smart classes, third city and the work of climate change for when they become adults and we don't do something about it. So thinking about the school district is just very fruitful for that.
Thank you for
Don't
that.
feel informed, necessarily proposed that. The other thing is, I noticed last night at the city council meeting, they approved a Watertown as a school news, city newspaper. That's important. Across the country, people aren't reading newspapers like they used to, and it should be. We talked last, I mentioned last newspapers really focus on fact checking and making sure the sources are vetted and stuff like that, where many people use the resource of the internet, which is surely doesn't have any fact checking, surely doesn't have any vetting of whether. So I think that's important. I don't know if the school teachers are using newspapers, whatever newspaper they use in their towns and Watertown City, whatever, or to follow it. Just to know, how do you check out things are true or not? If it's really vetted and it's really got some viability to it.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Okay, upcoming dates for you, December 22nd through January 1st, there is no school. January 2nd, which is a Tuesday, school resumes. And we have a finance and facility meeting at the district office at 5 p.m. And following that is our regularly scheduled Board of Education meeting. Millie, what you got?
A couple of things. I just wanted to do, Tina, just a follow up on the last board meeting in terms of like COVID coverage for teachers that get diagnosed with COVID, because I have had a lot of teachers get diagnosed with COVID. So I'm just wondering what our district policy is on that.
So I'm working with legal on that, but as it stands right now, as I said last time, we are taking, the state's allotting a certain number of days. We are looking at cases on a case by case basis. I'm in contact with teachers and contacted quite often. There seems to be a bit of a spike, as you probably.
Yeah.
So we're working with teachers and staff on an individual basis and working with legal to try to get people what they need in order to get through this.
So I just want to pitch in here from a medical perspective. There is a lot of waste of resources going on. And the reason I'm saying that is because there are a number of businesses in town that when a person does a home test and it's positive, they are required to go to a facility and get a formal test. Now, everyone has their own policies and you have to follow the policies, but that, in my personal opinion, is a waste of resources because I have yet to see someone who tests positive at home. Well, I shouldn't really say that. A couple of times there's been negative, but they've been old tests and they come and they say this is an expired test. So in the spirit of that, I don't think we can change that. But one of the things I do want to say is that, and I'm not sure if you know this, but Jefferson County Public Health has put out a form that can be individually downloaded and you can document. And we do this for our patients as a service, but anybody can go on there, download the form, and it's an honor system and you can put the dates. And legally, the public health says you have to be out for 5 days. You have to wear a mask for 5 days, then you're symptom free at day 6, and then you have to have an additional 5 days with a mask and you can return to work. So technically, people only have to be out for 5 days. Correct. So I just want to make sure that if we have some provisions in our current law in New York State, that if this is still covered under state law, that these teachers or administrators, whoever gets COVID, doesn't need to use up their sick time and their personal time. So we really need to make sure, because we don't want to be doing something that's wrong and it's going to come back and bite us. So if we can get clarification on that, because some teachers have expressed to me in the office that they're going to take sick time or they can't take sick time, and certain information is given to them. And they've asked me, knowing that I sit on the board, but I don't have a definitive answer.
So what I would encourage teachers and all of our staff to do is to contact my office, and then have that certificate of attestation from the New York State Department of Health that came about. It's an honor system. Yep. Right on the Department of Health website. Right. It's very easy to fill out. There's also a COVID calculator that tells exactly what you just said. You put your first date of symptoms. It'll tell you when you can return to work. Right. And when to wear a mask. So that's very helpful. But I would encourage people to contact my office if they have. Yeah, I'll work with people, and again, we're working with legal on this. It's there's many different we were last advised, like I said last time, if they have that certificate and a clinician's positive test, then we would consider on a case by case basis, depending on how many cases were, how many cases we were used before. But.
Yeah. We definitely have an uptick in COVID right now.
We do
definitely
we'll see that.
So. And technically, there's also an uptick in RSV and there's also an uptick in flu. So, if you get diagnosed with the flu, you get RSV, you have to take your sick days. But if you get diagnosed with COVID, it's a gray area. So just point of clarification there.
Thank you.
So thank you for, following up on that, and I'll get back with you on that.
Okay.
The other thing I wanted to mention, and especially for Nick and Suzanne, who are now, you're ascending into a higher level position at the high school. This past week, we had a very productive meeting with Dr. Schmiegel from a medical perspective. And as a board, we're very concerned with the drug usage at the high school. Okay, this is, again, we can say that this is pervasive across the state, it's pervasive across the country, but that doesn't mean that we ignore it and that we don't do anything about it. This board and our administrative team, and with our SROs, we are putting and implementing things that are, rules that and policies that need to be followed. So we went ahead and we installed vape sensors. So we have to make sure that if a kid gets caught vaping, that there is a direct, consequence to that. There's also a provision that if you get caught with drugs, you have to do like a drug course. Like, so every kid needs to do a drug course. And we don't need to hear some kids say, oh, guess what? I got away with it. Because that's how kids are. They just talk amongst themselves. Whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter. You don't want that narrative out there. There is also, we're working on youth court. Some of the suggestions that we came up with is that if you get caught vaping, then you may be mandated to do something with like Pivot and provide or write a paper or do some education, some peer-to-peer education. So we need to learn how to address the drug issue in a positive way where you actually get an educational perspective from it, as opposed to it being punitive. Because I think all of us that are parents, punishing your kids doesn't always work. Like, you really want to teach them to rephrase their thinking. You really want them to know what the consequences are and spend a lot of time doing that. And we have to start at the high school. Like, our high school is not good right now. To believe that it's not a problem is really not appropriate, because we see it in the office. I have parents coming in all the time saying, what can I do with my kid? So I just want, one of the things that is frustrating to our board is that a lot of the media really likes to quote negative things, and they'll be happy to quote something that, is going wrong, but they don't talk about what we are actually doing to address this issue. Our superintendent is committed to making sure that we address this. We are trying to enforce and be consistent and have policies so that we can really try to minimize, because we're not going to eradicate it. Like, that's not to think that the kids are going to stop. It's not. But hopefully if we put some of these tight measures in, it'll be somewhat of a deterrent. So I think it's very important that, we say that we are taking action, and this is a positive for us. We're not slipping things under the carpet. We're not acting like it's not happening. We're addressing it. We're doing head on. We had a very positive meeting and Dr. Schmiegel has been incredible in listening, open ears, trying to figure out how we can undertake this problem. And I really hope, Sandy, that I know you don't decide. I know you're just an employee, but it's really important that I think the media start to highlight the great things that this board is doing. We have open communication. We have great leadership. The people that are working with us now are so much more involved and really are dedicating and investing a lot of time in making our school district better. And I just want the media to stop trying to highlight like all the bad things. We're doing a lot of good things. You heard the superintendent's report. Thinking of an alternative program for these kids who need extra help, getting a behavioral specialist. We're listening to our teachers. We're listening to our community. We're going to have community town halls in the coming months after the new year. Get the community involved. Talk to parents. How can we help you help your kids? We've engaged in, memorandums of agreement with Pivot and other agencies. And that is the information that needs to come out. That is what we need. People in the community need to know how hard we're working, and the positive needs to come out. So I wanted to make a special point in pointing that out. And the last thing I'd like to say is that, Terry, I had a great time. I was invited to read to not the kindergartners. I had a 4th grade class, and they were amazing. They were all sitting there at the edge of their seat. I love doing it. I think next year you should probably ask more, but you won't be here, but you can pass it on. Board members would love to do that. It was a great experience. I did see Sarah Campo-Pierce here, and these are the ways that we can show leadership. We can show that we care and that we're involved in our community. And I really think that all of us sitting on this board are very committed to putting that message forward. That's it. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Lori.
Oh, I thought you were going to go back. I wasn't ready. I just want to say thank you to the students and the nice little performance they put on today, especially to my niece and my nephew that were here and my special neighbor Jane. I'm very proud of all of them. They were all very nervous. They did very well. And everyone that spoke about Mr. Gonsath, it was very touching. I wish I would have had tissues. So now I'm going to put you on the spot for a second, and I'm going to try to not cry. So I just want to tell you thank you. And I know I'm not sure if you remember, we met over 10 years ago when I was subbing at Case when my kids were there. My memories go back then. You were always so funny. You always had a smile. You were the most supportive person. You should probably know that one of the reasons I'm sitting here is because of your passion for the school district, your passion for learning and education. I've grown up in an educational background with aunts and uncles, but you were one of the people that made me want to do more here. So thank you for that. Thank you for loving my kids back then and my bonus child when he was here, when we moved over this area. He went through a lot and you were awesome. And especially for my nieces and nephews, you know what I'm talking about as well. I'm gonna cry. And always thank you for always supporting us. You were like the first person that emails us. You were the first person to tell me congratulations when I got here. You were always there. You have our back. You were the first person when we have bad media to tell us great job. And I just really want to thank you. You are the epitome of what education stands for. And it's just been an honor for you to be working here for us.
No, thanks, Lori.
And happy holidays.
Mr. Dozier. To follow that. I just want to congratulate Mr. Gonza on his retirement. It's always a pleasure to come to Sherman, whether it's an event for work or a board meeting. It's always a great environment. It's positive. It's always welcoming. It's fun. And I know he's meant a great deal to my family. He's principal at Case when my wife first started teaching. Both kids came through Sherman, and my son dressed up as him for Halloween when he's in first grade. And I think that says a lot about a person if a first grader wants to be you for Halloween. And the next principal does have some large shoes to fill. I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Well said. Well said. Randy.
So much has already been said, Terry, but you sure create a culture in this school that we want to replicate throughout our district. I want to pick up on what Lori said. You heard tonight about you being supportive, and you've always been supportive of this board in ways that are deeply meaningful to all of us. And I've said it to you personally, but I wanted to say it publicly. Thank you. I also want to acknowledge the passing of two employees of the district, over 70 years combined service to the district. John Pugar and Joe Sylvester touched the lives of hundreds, maybe thousands of students, including this one. And we send our thoughts to their families.
Very well said. Couple updates here. My first is from Leslie Atkinson, principal at high school. Watertown High School is chock full of excitement and energy as we count down to the upcoming holidays and a much anticipated vacation. The month of December has been loaded with seasonal concerts and activities, including the December 12th performance of each of our vocal and instrumental ensembles to a near capacity crowd. In addition, our select choir will perform throughout this week at the Urban Mission, North Elementary School, Wiley Intermediate School, and the noon Rotary meeting at the Italian American Club. Our wind ensemble will also perform a holiday concert at Ohio Elementary and will join the choir in caroling throughout the hallways of Watertown High School and Case Middle School on Thursday, our last day of school for 2023. Mrs. Atkinson also goes on to say all of us at Watertown High School extend our very best wishes to the Board of Education and our district administration and staff for a peaceful, joyful holiday. We thank you for your unwavering service to the children of our community, and we wish you a healthy and prosperous new year. Thank you very much. And our other update comes from Erin King at Case. She said Case enjoyed a very successful Polar Express dance activity night on Friday the 8th. We had approximately 200 students enjoy the evening. Great turnout. We held the town hall meeting on Thursday the 14th Rich Little from the Watertown City Fire Department came in to discuss safety and caution with lithium batteries. Finally, she says we are enjoying our holiday celebration week. Students can shop our holiday sale for items for their loved ones purchased with case cash earned through our PBIS committee. We will end our week with holiday activities on Thursday afternoon. It's all been said, right? You know how I feel about you. Been a big fan of you forever. My son was lucky enough to have you. My daughter won't be. But I think everybody in this room should be so lucky to reach the end of their career and have a unanimously positive position about you. And I don't, speaking only for myself, but I think everybody in the room, I've never talked to one person who had anything negative to say about you. And that should define your career and speak to who you are as a person. So I'm forever thankful that I know you and forever thankful that you worked here.
Very nice.
So with that, I'll take a motion to dismiss. Lori on second.
Millie.
Millie, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? See you next year.